Hello and welcome to the Book Bunch. My name is Sam. It is so great to have you guys here for another video. And today is very exciting because I'm going to put a little book review in here of a book that releases today so that you guys can take advantage of it, because for a limited time the ebook is on sale. So go check it out and we'll talk about it in a second. But the book is called Please Return to the Lands of Luxury, which is really cool. It's by John Tilton, but we will get to that in just a minute. The other thing we are going to be doing today is the middle grade book tag, because I was very kindly tagged by my friend Katie over at Paperbacks and Ponytails, so I'll leave her channel linked below. But the main reason this whole video exists is because we need to address the elephant in the room, and that is my new glasses, guys. Do you like them? Do you not like them? I have mixed feelings about them because I really liked my old glasses and the style that they were, but they were like coated in this like fake gold stuff and it kept turning green, and I was like, ugh, hate that, because it was just too hard to keep looking after them and trying to keep them like actually gold and not going green. And yeah, it was a bit of a disaster, so I had to go with some that didn't have the fake metal on it, and these were the best I could find. Unfortunately, they're not as funky as the others, but I will live. The reason though that I have new glasses is because reading is bad for you. I need to express that because the optometrist said that the reason I needed new glasses, and I doubled my prescription in 1 year, is just because the sheer amount of reading I do. So those people who tell you that reading is good for you are liars because it's terrible for your eyesight. But who knows, maybe that's just because I have like other degeneration problems going on. I don't know. But yes, I have doubled my prescription in the last year, so I needed to upgrade my glasses, and here they are. Let me know your thoughts. I do like that I went with the clear. I do like the clear. But yeah, any thoughts, any suggestions for glasses I should get in the future? Because I feel like glasses are a reasonable price nowadays, so I could probably get a couple more frames, but these ones were from Oscar Wiley. I don't know if they exist in other countries, but they are here in Australia, and they're pretty good if you want like trendy glasses for a pretty good price. So there's that. That's my little plug. I'm not sponsored. I just like them. And it's obviously impertinent to be able to see. But yes, so now we're going to get on to question 1 of the book tag, and that will lead us into the review. So we're going to start with that. Question 1 of the middle grade book tag: what is the last middle grade book you read? So the last middle grade book I read that I have finished, because I'm partway through one at the moment, was Please Return to the Lands of Luxury. This is a book by John Tilton. I'll leave the cover up here for you guys to have a look. I love the cover. I think it's really cute. I also highly recommend you guys go check out his short story, which is set in the same world. I loved the short story. I feel like the pacing and everything was done really well. His new book, I don't like quite as much, just because I feel like the page count should have been a little bit longer so that things could have been explained a bit better, because it almost feels like things move too quickly, especially like people's emotions and decisions, because they're big decisions. There's some big decisions that happen in this book, and I feel like maybe it's a little bit too rushed. So if there was a little bit more pages, it would have been much better. But this is like his debut, so like it's okay for it not to be the best book I've ever read, just because sometimes writers take time, and there is so much potential in this book and in this world. I absolutely love it. So it follows this girl named Jane, and she lives on an island that is just full of trash. Like the whole island is just mountains of trash, and the only other things on this island, apart from the group of people that she lives with, is these metal robot men, and if the people go into these out of bounds areas or like do anything that they shouldn't do or try and talk to the metal men incinerate them, which is crazy. And all these people have known is living in this trash and eating moldy canned food that they can find, and like, yeah, trying to live the best life they can in this horrible situation. And there's lots of children, and not many adults, because the life expectancy on this island is not very high. And we follow this one girl, Jane, and she's lost both of her parents, and she's got two best friends, Timothy and Rodney, and they go out on a scavenge one day to get more food and more items for their little burrows. And she finds this doll that's almost in perfect condition, and she's like, this does not belong here. This must be a mistake. And sure enough, she finds a tag on it that says, please return to such and such address to this girl named Gloria. And so Jane feels that it is her personal mission to return this doll to Gloria, and she is willing to do whatever it takes to return it. And she goes on this adventure. Her two friends try and talk her out of it just because of the sheer level of danger involved. And yes, she ends up sneaking off by herself, and then her friends try to follow in her footsteps, and things don't go to plan, and they end up uncovering like this horrible stuff that's going to happen. So that is kind of the synopsis of the story. Like I said, it was a really enjoyable read, definitely above average, but I probably wouldn't give it more than a 4 out of 5 stars. Like it's probably just under a 4 out of 5 stars for me, if I'm being really honest. But also it's middle grade. I am not the intended age group. If you have a middle grade age child, I feel like it would be a great read for them, just because it's definitely written in the tone of voice of someone who is a lot younger. So keep that in mind as well, because my rating might sound a bit harsh, but again, I am not the intended audience. So I definitely highly recommend it. And again, check out his short story, because that was awesome. I loved the short story. And I'm so excited to see what John has like planned for the future, because it's been awesome watching his journey over on Instagram. So go check him out. This is not sponsored or anything. I paid for my own copy of his book. I just have really enjoyed being part of his writing journey and watching him. I love watching authors like as they get everything organized and they sort out publishers and cover designs and like do their revisions and stuff. I love watching that process. So it was fun to be able to watch John do that as well. Okay, that was the review. Continuing on with the book tag, question 2 is, what is a middle grade someone read to me as a child? So a middle grade that was read to me as a child, there was quite a few, but some of them are probably other answers. But my mum was the only one that really read to me, and even when it comes to that, after a certain amount of years, I ended up being the one to read to her, because neither of my parents are very strong readers. I'm kind of the oddball in the family. Neither of my siblings read either. And they have no idea where I got my reading from, really, except like maybe some like extended relatives kind of thing. But I have distinct memories of my mum reading Black Beauty to me, and like Anne of Green Gables. Also The Secret Garden, and I think there was one other, but like I believe she read Heidi to me, but I can't remember Heidi very much, but I definitely remember the other 3 really well. And then it says, what was your favorite middle grade read as a child? That one is a tie between Matilda, Anne of Green Gables, and The Secret Garden. I loved those 3 books, everything about those 3 books. My copies of The Secret Garden and Matilda are like in tatters because they were so well read and loved. I didn't have my own copy of Anne of Green Gables, I don't think. Like, I think my mum read it for me, and then something happened to the copy that we had, and so it didn't get a chance to get destroyed. Um, and yeah, I loved those 3 books. I highly recommend them to younger people. If you know of anyone, if you've got daughters or even sons that love reading, definitely pick those 3 as winners. And what is my favorite middle grade as an adult? If you guys know anything about me and have been keeping up with the channel, my absolute favorite middle grade as an adult is the Wing Feather Saga. It is my favorite book and series of all time. Nothing I have ever read has surpassed it so far. And I've read a lot, so that's saying a lot. I absolutely recommend Wing Feather Saga to anybody, especially if you like fantasy, because it is fantasy. And also if you like kind of comedy, it's a bit funny in places as well. Like there's a lot of like dad jokes in it basically, and I absolutely loved that. It made me cry. It was just an amazing story, and I love everything about the Wing Feather Saga. But yeah, I just don't know how much I can say without just gushing all over the place and taking up the whole video, but I have done a whole review on that if you wanted to check it out. Kind of feel like I should re-review it just because like my first review wasn't really done all that professionally, but that's all right. I'm sure people like it anyway. And who is my favorite middle grade author? So my favorite middle grade author, that one's really hard because there's so many good ones. But like if I'm talking about books that I've read pretty much everything they've ever written, I'd have to say Roald Dahl, because as a kid I loved Roald Dahl. Like loved the Roald Dahl. And I still love Roald Dahl. Like Matilda, BFG, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, James and the Giant Peach. Like even Danny Champion of the World, they all have really special places in my heart. I didn't read The Witches because I wasn't allowed, and I didn't read, I think it's The Twit or Twits or something is another one, but I'm pretty sure I've read every other one of his books. George's Marvelous Medicine, all of that, read them all, loved them all. I just love him. He's a really good children's author, so I would have to say Roald Dahl is my favorite, but there's definitely so many good ones out there. What do I think should be required reading for middle grade at school? I would see, this one's hard because like there's so many that I could say that I've already mentioned, but I think in regards to like what would be beneficial to keep like teaching kids like important things and like diversifying them a little bit would be the extraordinary life the, the extraordinary life of a cactus, or whatever that book is called. I reviewed it in my last video. That book was really awesome, and I really wish I had read that as a younger person, because I had no exposure to that kind of stuff when I was a kid. Even now I haven't had that much exposure to people who are living with like major disabilities and things like that. I don't really have any personal like connection with anyone like that. My mum does have a disability, but she's only had that in the last like 10 years, and like hers is a movement issue more than anything. Like she still has all of her limbs and all of that kind of stuff. It just mostly causes her pain. But yeah, like I don't know anyone who is missing limbs or has like a really severe mental disability or anything like that. And it was really cool seeing it from that perspective through a book, especially through a child's voice. It was really well done. I really, really enjoyed it, and I definitely want to keep reading that series. So I think it's really important that kids have that exposure, because the only way they are going to be inclusive of those kind of people and not be rude and all of that kind of stuff is with that kind of exposure and being like raised right, I guess. So yes, I think that's super important. And then, what is my favorite middle grade cover? That one is way too hard to answer. As you guys know, I love covers, and I make it my mission if I'm going to buy a book, if as long as it's not secondhand kind of has a pass, but like if I'm buying a book firsthand, I will pick the prettiest cover that I can find of that within my price range. But I have some beautiful covers, so I don't know if I could really pick one, but my copy of Anne of Green Gables is really beautiful. My copy of Secret Garden is really beautiful because I wanted to get ones that were extra special. What else do I have that's beautiful covers of middle grade? I mean, the Wing Feather Saga books are awesome covers, but I don't know. I can't pick a favorite, honestly. I have way too many nice covers. There's even a bunch that I haven't even mentioned because I'm not looking at them right now to like tell you, but it is my mission one day when I finally get to go through all my books again, is to do a cover video for you guys and show you all my favorite covers, but we will have to save that for another time because most of my books are in storage. And then last question is, what is your favorite adaptation of a middle grade? Mine would have to be Narnia, obviously. It's just the best. I love the Lion, Witch and Wardrobe adaptation. It is so amazing and super special, and I don't know if, like, in regards to accuracy, I'd say that's probably the most accurate middle grade adaptation I have seen. The second one to that would be the Anne of Green Gables one, but the, like, outside of the first book and the first movie, the later ones aren't accurate. Still amazing, still recommend, still one of my favorite trilogies as a film adaptation of all time, but the story is very different to what the books are. That being said, that first movie is like a perfect representation of the first Anne of Green Gables book. So I don't know, it's kind of a tie, but I really liked both of those. So you'll have to let me know what you guys think as well, because I don't know if there is many middle grade books I've read that have been like turned into a movie. I don't know. I mean, there's like Alice in Wonderland and stuff, and I do like that, but I haven't actually read the Alice in Wonderland book. And I guess there's like Peter Pan and stuff, but I don't know. They're good, but I don't know if they're like the best. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's everything for today, guys. I am going to tag. Who has not been tagged that I know of? I don't think Miriam's been tagged from Miriam Elizabeth Reed, so I will tag you. And I will tag Amanda at Book Lovers Amanda, because I don't think she's done it either. I could be wrong. So if you guys have, you'll have to let us know in the comments below. But they're my tags. Enjoy it. I love this tag. Thank you so much to Katie for tagging me in it. I think someone else, like, she was tagged by someone else. I'm not quite sure who the original creator is, but I think maybe Katie left that in her video. So go check that one out, and I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great week. Bye.